2013, the future of consciousness. I'm here through the portal to discuss what is ahead for humanity within the current mind-physical relationship that human beings exist as. Now, what the human being would now be aware of as what we term the mind is your thinking, your internal conversations, backchats, your reactions of emotions and feelings, and how that would culminate into determining and defining your behavior. That humans' awareness is currently connected to and defined by the mind, meaning that whatever comes up in your mind, in your head, basically, the nature and the content of your thoughts, that which you think and participate in or imagine or fantasize about, that at the moment is what is defining you, your awareness, who you are, according to which you will react and respond in either a negative or a positive energy experience that will then, within that, encapsulate your total self-experience and therefore accordingly control your living and behavior within your physical body. So within this, what has to be realized is that the content of your thoughts, your backchats, your energy experiences, your imagination, your fantasies, is the directive principle that is currently defining you. Meaning, if you have a particular thought or imagination, what happens is fascinating in that human beings do not question the content or the nature of those thoughts or imaginations. It is simply accepted as it being who I am. And what humans' awareness had not realized yet is that you have the power, the ability, and the directive principle to change your thoughts, your imaginations, and the content within them, rather than have them define who you are and how you are and what you live. Within this platform, we're now going to have a look at the existence of demons. Now, I understand this seems like quite a jump, but I'll get back to what we now discussed in the beginning of this interview. Demons. There is a history of demons within human civilization. The demons I speak of here are the interdimensional demons that existed within a demon dimension within and amongst human beings in and on this earth plane. Whereas the demon dimension formed part of the entire heaven existence, but the demon dimension existed in the lower planes, the lower energies of the heaven existence, and the heaven existence itself, with the higher dimensional or energy planes, where you now have your guides and angels and masters and gods and goddesses and all the light and love beings. They were situated way up in the beyond the atmosphere of this earth, this physical existence. So there was quite a separation between the heaven's hierarchies and the demon dimension. Within this, demons did play an integral role within much mind-physical consequence throughout the history of human civilization. For context of that history, I would suggest having a listen to the Journeys into the Afterlife interview series that is available on Equaf. That will be referenced within the description box below, as well as Demons in the Afterlife, more specifically. Demons in the Afterlife is being walked by a demon through the portal and walking what the demon dimension consisted of. What was demons' relationship to the human mind, the physical body? How did demons possess human beings? Why did demons possess humans? Within that, furthermore, why did the heavens hierarchies not assist and support and help demons to materialize or become equal and one within the higher dimensional hierarchies? Why were demons left to create consequence in human beings' minds and lives? What is it of human beings that attracted demons in particular? When demons were exorcised, were they really exorcised, meaning becoming non-existent, or was there actually something more going on there in what the demons did while they were being exorcised? So there is essentially an entire library in those two interview series that I mentioned about the history of interdimensional demons in the heaven existence and within and amongst human beings. Furthermore, within this, what has to be understood is that demons, interdimensional demons, no more exist. There has been a new era, if you will, that had emerged within the heaven existence, with the demon dimension no more existing, with demons no more existing, and the heaven existence, as it existed, with all the hierarchies, no more exist. It has all changed through an extensive process that had been walked in the heaven existence. And again, for this process in how and why heaven changed and why interdimensional demons no more exist, again, this is being walked or in the process of being walked in the Journeys into the Afterlife series, and as well as Demons in the Afterlife interview series. Now, those two interview series more focus on the history of the heaven existence and the demon dimension, and up to the point of how heaven changed, which essentially mean that at this very moment, all that exists within and amongst humanity is this physical existence, meaning that there is no more interdimensional heaven demonic influence within human civilization or within the minds of human beings. And even this one will understand with walking in the Demons in the Afterlife interview series, where the demon explains how when a demon would possess a human being, the possession of the human being would be done through using the human being's own mind. Especially your unconscious mind will be accessed, for example, by the demon. The demon will use your own energies, your own mind, the content of your own thinking, your secrets, your deceptions, your fears, your angers, everything that constituted your mind, the demon would use within and as a possession. And so during a demon possession, what one in fact see that the demons simply emphasize or animate or substantiate is in fact the human's own mind in the levels of the unconscious, the quantum mind, and the quantum physical. And now here we're getting into dimensions or layers in which the mind in fact exists, that humans' awareness is not do not even know of, because your awareness, as I have explained in the beginning of this interview, essentially you are only now aware of your thinking, your backchats, your reactions, your imaginations. where those things that you are aware of are produced and created from is within the levels of the unconscious, the quantum mind, and the quantum physical. So there is an entire existence, essentially, of the mind that human beings are not aware of in any way whatsoever. So the point that I wanted to make with regards to how demons have utilized the human's own mind to possess is the fact that essentially the nature of the human throughout human civilization has never been a direct influence by any heavenly being or demonic being. The mind, as the human, as the content and the nature of what comes up within you, has always, throughout human history, been a direct reflection of your real, true nature, of your beingness nature. Now, if you want to have a look into and an investigation into that history as to why and how it is that, if we look at human civilization now and the nature of human beings, where did that nature of us originate from? Why is it that then within the history of our existence within existence that we had come to this moment of creating what we face on earth now? That history is being walked by the creators of the mind-physical relationship, the reptilians, that is also available on Equaf. Now, within this, what has to be understood is that who and what you are within your mind is your sole responsibility. It may not make sense to you, meaning that with me, for example, saying that what comes up in your mind is your responsibility, but if you look at the things that can come up in your mind, sometimes they're so abstract, so bizarre, so weird. It's like you cannot connect them to anything in yourself or your life, but yet they affect you. And this one can have a look at, for example, these violent thoughts that can come up, especially in moments where you are angered or frustrated, in a moment of friction and conflict, and it's like this rage just possess you, and you can have the most evil thoughts or imaginations come up toward another human being. Now, this is mostly quite evident in most human beings, and a human being can create such a self-defined relationship to what comes up in their mind that they actually start living it out, and it becomes their living being in this physical reality, and essentially become demonic in nature. So then, here for a moment as well, in the Demons in the Afterlife interview series, one will see quite clearly the direct connection between interdimensional demons as they did exist, and how the mind, in fact, exists of the human, that represent and reflect one's real, true beingness nature. So within this, that, things will come up in your mind that you won't necessarily directly relate to, but it's coming up within you. Therefore, it's part of you. Therefore, it exists within you. Now, this only happens where one can't relate to what comes up in your own mind when you have in your mind a primary personality referred to as ego. That will be your primary self-definition. When someone would ask you, who are you? Tell me who you are. Whatever you answer would be how you and who you primarily exist as. However, if you notice your interactions with various human beings in your world, you'll find that you can be a different person dependent on the people or the environment or the situation that you are in. Now, this changes that happen within you dependent on external people, environment, or situations is indicative of various personalities that activate in your mind's existence. And therefore, within this, you do actually have various different personalities. And one will thus only not relate to what comes up in your mind when you primarily believe yourself to be only one personality, when really there are many more than one can imagine that in fact exist within you, from where these thoughts or memories or imaginations or fantasies in fact come from. And then also you're looking at your unconscious mind, your quantum physical, where you throughout your life have imprinted various reactions to various things that you can't even remember, because you can't even remember the previous day from the next day. And therefore things will come up in your mind that you may have had a reaction to years ago, because the mind and the physical is a fascinating thing in how it remembers everything, even though you may not. And so you faced a moment in your external environment. It activated an unconscious memory that you had a reaction to years ago, and whoops, there the memory comes up as a thought in your mind. And now here we get back to the beginning of the interview, where I had explained that what humans do is you define yourself to the nature and the content of what comes up in your thoughts and your imagination, without questioning it, without investigating it, without tracing it to see where it comes from. It's simply automatically accepted as who I am because it's coming up within me. And such situations can become very serious from the perspective that, one will suddenly have these violent thoughts or imaginations coming up because of that extent of definition to thoughts and imagination in the mind or of consciousness. The human will believe it to be them, and in that belief will become it and live it or act it out. I mean, you can see it even in the small. You'll have these thoughts or imaginations of inadequacy or judgment or self-loathing or victimization, and then according to what comes up in your mind, you'll have a relationship or definition to, and then allow these thoughts and imaginations and memories to define who you are. Now, this does not necessarily have to be so, and this is where we are introducing destiny, which assists and support you to realize what thoughts really are. What are these memories, these imaginations that seem to automatically come up in your mind? Why do they exist? How can you trace your thought processes, your imaginations, your reactions of emotions and feelings back into the past to see how you have programmed yourself in energy as personality systems, and how you can change you through reassessing and reestablishing your relationship to thought, in realizing who I am is not thought. You are creating yourself to be thought through accepting and allowing yourself to define yourself through thought, which is currently determining who you are in your life and your living. Now, within this, there is still this idea, belief, and perception that demons still exist. In this, what it is showing and revealing, interesting enough, is that somehow human believe that the demonic nature of man is because of some interdimensional beings, these demon beings that's creating all of the evil that is apparently seen in human beings. Like, a human being cannot fathom or conceive that the evil that human beings can do unto themselves and each other cannot possibly be done by a human. No, it must be some evil external forces that is possessing and coming over the humans so suddenly and unexpectedly, and taking them into a full-blown possession, acting out the evils that they are. But I do have a fascinating thing, and that is that at the moment this is not so. The evil that has always existed within humanity has been an evil that has been inherent within our beingness from almost the beginning of time. And what the mind has become a reflection a representation of that beingness, of that inherent nature of ourselves, that really truly what one faces in one's mind, what we're facing in humanity, what we're facing as this creation in this physical existence that exists, is all a reflection of ourselves individually and collectively. Now, don't yet get me started on all the positive beings and the love and light ones, in terms of that apparently the positive or the light and love reflect or represent their inherent beingness. No, on the contrary, what they have done is actually evolve from the perspective of hiding their inherent evil very well with light and love and positivity. But that will more be walked in the 2013, the Future of Consciousness interview series that I'm here to introduce. So within that, essentially, the demonic nature that is existent within the positivity and the light and the love, as essentially the wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. Now, getting back into humanity, the reality that one have to see, realize, and understand is that we are and always have been the only ones that have been responsible for what exists and what human nature have become. Now, within this, that the demons that one will see within humanity, within human civilization, is mind demons. What do I mean by mind demons? Now, again, this is not some interdimensional being or separate force as a mind demon that is taking over or possessing a human being. No, I'm meaning the demonic nature of man. I mean, you can have a look at your own thought processes, your own imaginations, your own thinking patterns, your own reactions. How often one have demonic thoughts which is the evil, the bad, the dark, the negative, that can come up in your mind in an instant and take over. How often one had deliberately spited another human being, deceived another human being to, in a way, get back at them, take revenge, and actually enjoying it. Within this, to have a look at this interview series, because in it we're going to walk the detail of what mind demons are. What is the demonic nature of man, of human beings, the inherent evil of our beingness? Why does love and light and positivity and goodness and benevolence exist, yet it does not seem to change the inherent nature of the evil of man within this physical existence and our minds? Why are our minds more primarily reactive, demonic, possessive, evil, bad, negative, and dark in nature? What are these thoughts, these imaginations that can come up, that can be violent, that can be abusive, that can be really extensive in the sense that sometimes one cannot even relate to it, but it still comes up? What is the future of consciousness within humanity if the mind, our inherent beingness that is represented and reflected within the mind, if it's not directed, sorted out, changed into a living solution in actually changing the nature, our inherent beingness within humanity? I mean, we're going to take mind demon possessions as examples and walk them through in detail. Like, for example, feeling like there's a demonic presence around you. What is that? How is that actually created within your own mind by your own fears? Hearing voices in the head, demonic voices in the head. Here we're going to, for example, have a look at personality systems in the mind and consciousness that can actually have different voice tonalities to individualize them or personalize them, and that those voices in the head are actually animated by and through one's own mind, one's own consciousness. What are demon possessions that are, for example, now currently experienced by human beings, even though interdimensional demons no longer exist? How can you create your own mind possession through thinking and through belief, through emotions and feelings? What are the demons that human beings are apparently now seeing in other human beings? How can one, in one's imagination, actually create an idea of what demons are, what they look like, what are their nature? I mean, if one have a look at how much you use your imagination when you're listening to other people speak, for example, when you're reading, when you are hearing things, simply a conversation that other people are having, you have a really active imagination. And how fast does that imagination move? Instantaneous. I mean, so fast you don't even have any awareness or directive principle of how it happens. It's like just there. I mean, how much does miscommunication and misunderstanding manifest in simple relationships because of your overactive imagination that can just blow reality completely out of proportion? So within this, what will happen, for example, is a human being will, in their imagination, create a projection, a simulation of what demons are, and then all of a sudden see it in everyone, everywhere. Oh, humanity is demon possessed. I see demons everywhere. They're in everyone. They look like this and like that, and that's what they do, and that's how they do it. When all the while, I mean, what a human being does not equate is that you don't realize that what you're seeing, you're not really in fact seeing, because you're looking through your own mind. You created a projection of a demon in your own mind, and now you are through that, through your own imagination, seeing demons in all human beings when there really is none. The only point each human being consists of and exists as is your own mind, your own history within your lifetime through which you had created your mind, and within that thus all that one have to take responsibility for and face and change is one's own mind physical relationship. So if one is seeing demons within other human beings, please see, realize, and understand that they're not really there. You can go back and see how you created your idea of a demon in your own mind, and from there you now all of a sudden saw it everywhere. So be really watchful and careful for the mind's imagination. Because, for example, a human being would only create such an illusion and then superimpose it onto actual physical reality if a human being do not want to take responsibility for their own mind. I mean, it's very convenient saying that there's demons in everyone else, and apparently, I'm not demon possessed. No, because I see it in everyone else, and therefore I can save everyone else. When if that human being would look in their own minds, their own life history, their own secret mind, and what really goes on in that mind, you become more aware of the mind demons that one can create in one's own mind as one's own inherent nature. So I would suggest stop focusing on other humans' processes and rather face one's own mind and take responsibility for it in changing self. I mean, you've got all these types and kinds of saviors within existence. When there is an interesting thing about the savior would never take self-responsibility for themselves, but hide their own truth through apparently wanting to save everyone else. When no one can be saved, you can only save yourself. So then furthermore, within this Also to consider that, you're gonna see possessive demonic behaviors in human beings. Like, for example, these sudden killing sprees, various ways of suicide, of abuse, the extremities to which the mind can possess a human. We're going to walk through those as well, explain how it works, what are the mind physical consequences, in terms of accepting and allowing yourself to define yourself by what comes up in your mind, instead of investigating it and introspecting it, understanding it, questioning, but where are these thoughts coming from? Where are these imaginations? Why am I accepting and allowing myself to be defined by them? Why am I allowing what's coming up in my mind to take my attention away from reality for a moment, and then I have all these reactions toward it, and then I feel like shit, and then I just plummet down into the depth of darkness within the mind from there. Why aren't we living beings in this physical reality, breathing, living, expressing? Why have we not, as humanity, created a better world for ourselves, for everyone else? Why is life on Earth so consequential? And nope, it's not because of the devil-God dynamic competition that's going on. It's not because of demons. It's not because of aliens. There's so many various religions and spiritualities around why the evil exists within humanity, when all the while it's always been ourselves. And what exactly does that mean? How did evil evolve from our beingness into the mind and consciousness? And then most importantly, how to assist and support ourselves to really reverse our beingness existence from evil to live, to change our nature, our beingness in such a way to create a world that one would look forward to reincarnating back into. And a world where one would not want to leave from, essentially. A real home for ourselves, for everything and all beings within this physical existence. So here thus an introduction in what to look for in the next interview series. And we're going to take it from small mind possessions to the most extreme mind possessions. Where in your mind, sometimes in small moments, energy just takes over and your mind can really run rampant with you. How to learn how to regain self-control when that happens, to not let the mind, even in the small, just possess you suddenly, unexpectedly, and then how to eventually, assist and support you, that your relationship to the mind and consciousness doesn't become so consequential where you completely lose control of your awareness. Because you still have your awareness. If you can still, see thoughts and internal conversations and reactions, where you can see your relationship to it, in that you still have the time and the opportunity to take responsibility and direct it and stop and change it, before it gets to a point where you don't even realize that your awareness had been completely possessed by the mind and consciousness. Right. Thank you very much.